Yo everybody, welcome to Team RaddTitan. Today we're going to be giving you a quick review of the fan art Colossus. Now this piece I got a really long time ago, a couple of years ago. I had the XM Colossus statue, was very happy with it. I saw this in one of the groups that I'm in and I just had to have it. You know, for me, this was the piece that sort of reminded me so much of the animated series where he's in jeans and a vest, wife beater, and it's all ripped and he's fixing Xavier's mansion. And I thought they really captured that really well. I really liked the style of this. So, you know, we're going to be going over it, showing you the features, talking about the size of it. We'll give you the edition size and all that jazz, maybe a bit of character bio. You know, if you don't know who Colossus is already, it's one of the big guys from X-Men. So stay tuned to hear what we think about it, yeah? Peace. Okay everybody, so this is the fan art 1/4 scale Colossus. This is by ATF. I'm in the group of mod there, so I get, you know, occasionally I see a lot of these sort of bits that they're doing, these projects are up to, and this was one of the pieces I grabbed. So this is only 38 of these in the world. I got the deluxe edition, which means it comes with a bust, which is there. It's actually quite a very nice bust. We'll go over that later. But, you know, you get that and you get 3 portraits. So you get 2 portraits where he is clean shaven. One is smirking slightly and one's got a serious face. This is the serious face that's on there at the moment. And then you get the bearded portrait, which is fucking epic as well. You also get the crossed-armed bust, which you can put on the bust stand and leave it to display alongside it. Or you can take the torso off and have it on display on the statue itself. Okay, so if you don't know who this is the Colossus. So he's from X-Men. His real name is actually Piotr Nikolaevich Rasputin, otherwise known as Piotr Rasputin. He is a Russian, and he is a mutant. He got his mutant powers when he was saving his sister from like a tractor. He turned his whole body, he turns into like a type of organic steel. I think it's close to osmium, but it's actually of an unknown composition. They actually do not know what material he's made out of. This is sort of like, you can actually take the hammer off on this and put it into his hand as well. Here's another hand. So that's an alternative display. I will show you that as well. So we'll go over it. We'll go over what you get. So he's standing on top of a Sentinel, destroyed Sentinel head, which actually looks really, really nice. This is a lot bigger than I think you realise, because when you see me standing next to it, you think, oh, it's like a decent size. But just to give you an idea, that that's my whole hand over the front of it, and it really doesn't touch the sides, to be honest. It's a really huge head that he's standing on, and for me this is probably one of the best, if not the best, fallen Sentinel, sort of broken Sentinels heads that I've seen. They're probably one of the other ones that really stands out, as the XM Maestro version was really nice as well on the back of his throne. But this one, it's got sort of a contorted and broken jaw, where you can see at the back there it's like snapped in half, and it's sort of his foot, the weight of it that's bending in to the Sentinel head is pushing the jaw away from the actual structure of its body, of its the upper jaw. So I really love how they've done that. It's a very subtle detail with all these sort of mechanics and stuff going on inside, wires and cables and all such things like that. There's the thing that where the sort of beams come out of. But the fact that he's sort of one foot, his weighted foot is leaning down on this and it's like breaking the jaw away from the face. I think that's a subtle detail that a lot of people wouldn't really notice. But it looks really, really nice. The eyes do light up. This one does on the face there. You have to take off this sort of panel that's above it. You just pull that out and take the eye out, and then it's an interesting light up because you have to use the magnet on one of the other parts, either his head or his hand or something, and touch the end of the light and it comes on. They flash up red and they do blinker as well. This is obviously the hammer that you can take this out. So it's sort of, you know, magnetized in, but you can take it out. It comes in 2 parts. It's a quite a decent size, and then it sort of goes in there. It does fit into his hands as well, so you just got to get the right area and then back in. He's got, you know, proper, almost like Timberland boots on. Laces are nice. Got proper X-Men symbols on his shoes. Nice lining, nice stitching all the way throughout. Some real detail there. It's actually a lot lighter. Let me just try and turn this brightness up so you get an idea. So that's probably better with the laces and everything you can see there. So, you know, really, really, really nicely done. So you can see some details there. Then you're going into the jeans. And again, he's got sort of his metallic skin showing through all the areas of the jeans and all through the rips, which I think is just probably one of the best examples of this I've ever seen. You've got all the musculature underneath there. His quads are all built underneath there, and it's ripped up and torn up. And I think they did an excellent job. These jeans, again, are kind of like a dark denim blue, so sort of almost like a grey blue. Again, you can see down there some really nice work into that. Some really nice detail. His knees on show there. And really, I think this is exceptional bit of work. So I'm really, really proud of this one. Okay, so up onto the top of it, you've got this sort of X-Men belt there, and you've got the ripped vest. And again, he's been in a battle with the Sentinels, obviously. He's ripped out and destroyed one of them, ripped out his eye, which is in his hand there. And you got the portrait there, which is top. I mean, that's just really, really top. The lines are done fantastically well. They've really etched in and detailed. The face has captured the character perfectly. He's actually a gentle giant, Colossus. He's like a selfless person. Considering his power and strength, he will avoid fights more than he will get involved in them. If he can avoid it, he will. And he spends most of his time getting himself into trouble protecting others. So it's something I can relate to quite a bit. The musculature is absolutely perfect. Like he has, the thing is with Colossus, although in the movie of Deadpool, you know, they had him a more squatty, almost like a, you know, Soviet power lifter build. In the comics and in the animated series and in, you know, everywhere else, he has an elegance to his physique. He has a length. He has like long muscle bellies in his physique. So he has, you know, what would be a very good sort of Mr. Olympia physique. Probably not the sort of massed up monsters of today, but maybe Sergio Olivier, them type of builds. Like he has really long muscle bellies, which is a very sort of aesthetically pleasing look. So you got, you know, really, really great thickness and length and sort of shape in his physique here. You can sort of see there in the shoulders, you know, all the muscles and the great shading work. Some people don't really like the hands. They've got this sort of like black, almost like he's wearing a knuckle duster around his hand. I actually don't mind it at all. I kind of like the wraps sort of on there. I don't know why I like that. I think it just adds a bit of texture to a very smooth sort of area, which I can appreciate. And actually it's quite, see, for all you audio diverse people, it's quite rough. It's a lot rougher than the actual vest. So it's a completely different type of material. It's almost like a bandage. It's almost like boxing wraps actually as well. So really cool. And then I'll try and get round this. So I haven't got the turntable on this because it's so heavy to lift. Around the back of it, you've got all these sort of cables and bits and pieces here. You've got the throat and the neck. It's not been neglected. It's all been done. He's like smashed into the bottom of the ground there. And you've got all these different type of, you know, almost like machine heads that are going on here, which look fantastic for me. They've got dirt and stuff on them. They're not like perfectly clean. Again, you can see the foot denting that side of the neck, which is just really good detail, you know, them type of things added. It's taking into account the mass of Colossus and how heavy he is. It's got beautiful coloration going on into sort of the metallics of this head, which is really, really nice. Got the gold parts too. And the cranium there with the big dented in hammer. His back is really, really nice. You can sort of, from here, you can get a look of the sort of build of him. It's very, like, it's a beautiful V-taper there. Triceps are perfect. All the heads are get like really, really well formed. And you get into the traps, and I mean that's just like also that's Dorian Yates-esque. That the back of him, how big them traps sit out, you know, from like in a sort of depth way. So when you look from here, you can sort of see just how much they push out. Yeah, so you got all that going on. And a box of frogs, to be honest, bro. This is like these sort of ones that here, when they come out and they're as good as this, they really do speak for themselves. So what I'll do is I'll give them a little switch over for you, and then you can have a little look-see at the other torso. Peace. Okay, so this is the display option number 2. You do, like I said, you do get a smirking, clean-shaven head, but the downside of probably this, the only negative, and I do mean it's like it is really splitting hairs, bullshit, really complaint, is that the smirking portrait also only goes onto this pose. So the cross-armed pose has the removable sort of head, and the way it sort of comes apart is from the sort of vest separation there. So I can sort of show you, if I just, it's very stiff there, so you get an idea. And then you have this here, which you can have a good look at this. You know how well done this is, and I love the bearded portrait. And again, you're getting that idea all the way, them colours, all the way through that, and thick lines and chest. Beautiful work around the face, and I love this sort of like beard and sort of box situation, how sharp those lines are. So it's not like human hair, it's very different. And again, this sort of just sits in keys in there, and then sits right in like a glove, no problem, see? And then look how seamless that is. It's like literally seamless, nothing. You can't see anything, no gaps, no nothing, which is really, really nice. So this is the alternative sort of cross-armed pose, which I'm a fan of. Obviously, I like that a lot. So I've used it, I've displayed it with this before for a little while, and you can see how well they did the sort of arms crossing, you know, under there. You've got sort of like bits and pieces. I think that's his like finger going across there. Or maybe, yeah, so it's quite, and then going into there. See, when you know, it's a lot of, when you think about maybe the Thanos by Legendary Beasts, I mean, that's probably the best cross arm I've ever seen. There are like 3 or 4 fingers underneath there, whereas in this you can barely see any. So that's keeping the sculpt relatively simple, not over making it more difficult than it needs to be. But I do appreciate those extra little bit of work, Jay, so well done, lad. I think this is a really nice option, and it's a drastic change. It also changes the way that you might want to pose this in terms of head on, because now you can see the turn that's happened on the base. So you've got more of that front sort of that's in view versus the actual Colossus. So if you want to turn it around the other way, this is actually quite heavy, but I'll try and move it for you. If you turn it round so that you're again seeing that as you want it there, he's now facing sideways, which I don't mind overly. You know, I think this is quite a victorious pose, and it does something to do. It's almost like a big giant triangle now, this, in terms of the thickness and width of the base. Just to mention, this statue is 30 inches tall, and it's 22 inches wide, and it is around 18 inches deep. So it's a big old piece, this. Let's have a little get around the back of this. Probably my favourite sort of part of this pose is how good that back looks, how wide, how much them lats flare out like that. I think that's spectacular, I really do. You can see quite a lot of rips and scratches behind here, you know, nothing's been sort of half-arsed and left, you know, his lats really do bulge out of there. So, yeah, I'm digging it, man. I'm quite proud of having this one. And then you've got the final once over, which is the hammer in hand. So let's have a look at that and then we're done. Okay, so again, this is the switched out hand. So the switch out hand holds the hammer, instead of the hammer being into this big dent that goes into the side there, which you can see, it's dented in. So he's like obviously dented it in, but this time he's got the hammer in his hand. Now, I think in terms of like composition and space, I think this is the best display, because there's no negative spaces really anywhere other than in between his legs. Anyway, there's no real negative spaces on this particular part, the way this is displayed. The hammer is in complete line with the head, and everything else is sort of covered, so that you've got this lovely sort of finished, and your eyes are not drawn to anywhere other than on the piece. It's not thinking, oh, it looks like it's missing something. So, you know, that's what it looks like. And like I say, you've got the serious pose on there, and then you've got the hammer. So that's how it looks all on. Connected there, you basically pull the hammer apart from the head of the hammer, and that bit sort of where he's holding comes apart, and then you slide it in from the top and then put it on that way round. So it goes together quite nicely. It's a weighty hammer as well, so the magnets are nice and strong on that. And you get a sort of an idea of how sort of that looks when it's on, which for me, I think this is probably my favourite. I'd probably say this, then it's the hand holding the eye, and then I like the crossed arm pose as with the bearded head as the alternative. I like the smirk portrait. But I think personally the smirk portrait would probably have looked better on this particular torso than it does on the crossed arm one. I don't like it as much on that as you know. I like it on the. I would like it on this more. But yeah, I think this is a wrap. So I'll get the. I'll show you the bust, and then we're done. Okay, so this is the bust. So this is where you can you can show it and have it next to the piece if you want to. It's like a load of iron girders all wrapped around each other with reed bar, which we know how much Alex just fucking loves a bit of reed bar. So that's how that goes on there. Underneath it has the picture, the same underneath the base. It doesn't have the corresponding number on it, but that doesn't matter. It's just got the same print that's underneath the actual statue. Okay, so then what I like about this is when you move this around, they've got these little gaps there. So that one's for the hammer. So if you want to stick the hammer in there, you can. This one around here, you can see there's like... there's a key there with that sort of bandage situation. So if you want to, you can stick the spare hands in here however you please. I think that's that way. See, and yeah, sorry, you didn't see that, but because I was like too busy trying to line it up like a pro. But yeah, see, it's quite a strong magnet, but you see it just sort of sits in there. So you put it in like so, and it goes right in, and it holds. So that's part of the actual base now. So that's one less thing you sort of need to put away. So it sits, and you've got his hand like sticking out there like that, which is great. So it's around the corner. Hello. And then you've got that there like that. And I actually much prefer, I don't know why, but I much prefer this Colossus bust on this stand. I just think as a bust, I think it's really, really nice just on its own. I think it does everything it needs to. It's just like a proper 1/4 scale Colossus bust. You could have this next to any X-Men statue that you wanted. I actually got a picture of it next to the Nightcrawler from Sideshow, and you can see the size of it. It's like nearly as big as the whole bloody statue, that one. So yeah, Alex will put the picture in for you so you can have a look. But I hope you enjoyed the review anyway, man. So let's get on to our sort of exit, and we'll wrap all this up. Peace. Okay, everybody, so you've heard what we thought about the piece, and you see the switch outs and sort of how it works and all that jazz. Thanks very much for sticking with it. I got this piece in a little while ago, and you know, it's been so crazy with the kids and the family and stuff. I don't really get a lot of opportunity to do reviews. So when occasionally my wife falls asleep because she's knackered from a long day, I get down there and maybe get an hour of quiet time, and I choose to do this so that you can see these pieces. Some of them are quite rare, and you're not going to see them very often. So it's an opportunity at least to share it. Thanks very much for all your support. God bless you all, and take care. Peace.